Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I'll be continuing my online lecture for the code of BQS554. So today's topic is on gas supply system. So what is natural gas? Okay, natural gas is a fossil energy source that forms deep beneath the Earth's surface. So it has many compounds. Okay, the largest one is methane. Natural gas also contains smaller amount of natural gas liquids and non-hydrocarbon gases such as carbon dioxide and water vapor. So this needs to be taken out before being sent to consumers. We use natural gas as a fuel and to make material as well as chemical products. So in terms of formation, how did the natural gas form? So, millions or hundreds of millions years ago, over long periods of time, the remains of prehistoric plants and animals, so they built up inside the ground in thick layers beneath the Earth's surface and ocean floors. Sometimes got mixed with sand, silt, and calcium carbonate. So, over time, these layers were buried, okay, under sand, silt, and rock, and due to pressure, due to heat, a change of this hydrocarbon and hydrogen-rich material into coal, some of them being changed into oil or petroleum, and some into natural gas. So this is a bit of a diagram, okay? So from the sea plants, animals, okay, they died and went to the ocean floor. Over time, they will be covered, and the remains get buried deeper and deeper. The enormous heat and pressure turn this into oil and gas. So today we drill down through the layers of sand, silt, and rock to reach the rock formation and that contain the oil and gas. So these are some of the offshore drilling platforms that are available today. Um, the system depends on how deep they actually need to dig. Okay, these are some of the connections being made at the wellhead, and this is the um, operation of extracting natural gas on land. Okay, a bit more detailed. Okay, that's the wellhead, and then it will penetrate all the way into where the gas bearing rock layer is located. And this is the drilling platform, the ocean. Okay. It's the same process, but it will need a platform because it is located at the sea. Now, in terms of consumption, natural gas withdrawn from natural gas or crude oil wells are called wet natural gas because it is basically unprocessed natural gas. It contains uh, um, other components such as ethane, propane, butanes, and water vapor. So, wellhead of natural gas may also contain non-hydrocarbons such as sulfur, helium, nitrogen, hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide. So, all these components needs to be taken out from the natural gas itself before being consumed by consumers. So this is the process from the wellhead. Natural gas sent to the processing plants where water vapor and non-hydrocarbon compounds are removed. And the NGL are separated from the wet gas and so separate. So all these components that have been taken out, they can also be collected and being sold separately. So there are some ethane left in processed natural gas. Okay, so separate NGL are called natural gas plant liquid. So after it's been purified, it's called NGPL. And the processed natural gas is called dry consumer grade or pipeline quality natural gas. So this type of gas can be sold to the consumers. However, there are some wellhead natural gas which is sufficiently dry and satisfy pipeline transportation standard without processing. So these are very pure natural gases, so it doesn't require any type of processing to remove all those unwanted compounds. And then chemicals are or odorants are added so to the natural gas so that leaks in natural gas pipelines can be detected. So the smell of gas that we sometimes experience, they are not natural. They are being put there so that we are able to detect leakage because natural gas in its original form is a colorless and odorless compound. So dry natural gas is sent through pipelines, through underground storage fields, or to distribution companies and then to consumers. So this is the process that we just described. Okay, from the oil and gas well, or from the gas well, they're being separated. Okay, where it produces oil and the water vapor being ejected, and then the spared are vented or flared, meaning it's burned away. Those gases that can't be sold to customers. And at the gas processing plant, we have these components removed, non-hydrocarbon gases removed, and then some of them are returned to the field. The gases that can be used are being returned to the field to improve the underground pressure so that more gases can be pumped out, or either they can be vented and flared. Then from there, it being sent to compressor station, okay, to increase the pressure, and then either can be being sent to main line sales, or being stored in underground storage reservoirs for later use. Okay, and then those gases which are going to be immediately used by consumers, they are being put odorant. Okay, so from there it's being sent to the natural gas company, which will handle the sales and distribution of this natural gas. So from there, it can be stored for later use, for peak hour use, especially. And then it will be sent through pipelines to available consumers. So from there, we have the production phase, the transmission phase, and the distribution phase. So from there, we can identify that there are two types of gases here. We first of all is the natural gas. Okay. And then the second one is the liquefied petroleum gas or the LPG. So both are clean alternative, very few pollutants, fewer emissions, no ash particles. In Malaysia, natural gas is used for residential and industrial activities, especially for industrial which are power hungry, like production of steel, glass, and ceramic. So these days, electricity generation and transportation have started to reap benefit using natural gas. So this is the facility, okay, available in Terengganu, okay, and also this is the facility in Qatar, and these are the underground pipes for the distribution of natural gas. And the administration of natural gas in Malaysia are being controlled by the Gas Supply Act 1993. You can read it there. So in terms of advantages, there is a lot, but these are just the main. Okay, cost saving. So natural gas is a premium fuel. Price competitively, it is cheap, cheaper than other petroleum products such as petrol, diesel, and such. Efficiency, okay, fuel efficiency is comparable to other petroleum products. No storage, meaning that natural gas is being sent to home through and other customers through pipelines. So normally these natural gas are not being stored, and clean burning. The burn of natural gas are almost complete, therefore emits very low carbon and ash particles. So this is the diagram for the distribution of gas system. So from the PGU, the gas will be going to the city gate, and then the odorizer station. From there, it's sent to feed the line. So for industrial, which uses a lot of natural gas and at high pressure, they're just going to tap from this main feeder line for their use. As you can see, as the gas goes through this pipeline, the pressure is being reduced. Okay. So for other customers who don't use as much gases, okay, though the natural gas will be sent to the district station at 55 to 35 psi. Okay, so quite low. Okay, the power hungry one 65 to 55, so it's a bit higher. Okay, but at the city gate and PGU is a lot higher, okay, in terms of pressure. So from there, the gas leaves the district station into the distribution line. So from there, it enters the service station for that particular facility. And here it is being sent through internal piping to the equipment appliances of the industrial building. Um, they are also being sent to commercial customers, okay, hotels or single developments, apartments, things like that. So of course they will go to their own regulating and service station, and the pressure will be reduced before being sent to those consumers. So same goes for residential. From the area station, the gas will be going through the internal piping. Okay, so this is the lowest pressure, 300 mm pressure into the building itself, the residential building. So here are the explanation. The city gate station used for regulating and metering purposes, located just after T-valve of Peninsula Utilization Pipeline, owned by Petronas. So Petronas owns all these gas pipelines. So this links up to Gas Malaysia pipeline distribution system, where the gas pressure of 500 to 800 psi reduced to 260. So Gas Malaysia here acts as the you can see distribution company, okay, for natural gas resource in Malaysia. So they are the distributor. Petronas is the supplier. But Petronas also supplies to their own facilities. Okay. Mm, it also acts as a custody transfer point for natural gas between Petronas and Gas Malaysia. So the odorizer stations, so they are there to put some sort of smell to the gas. And then feeder lines, these are steel pipelines, 4 inches to 16 inches to carry the pressured gases, okay, of 360 pounds per square inch. Okay. So they transport large volume of gas from the peninsular gas utilization pipelines to the multiple district station facilities. So district station, this is where the gas is tapped down from 35. Okay, district station. So this is the facility where the gas pressure is stepped down to between 35 to 55 psi before being supplied to the distribution line. And the distribution line itself is either steel or polyethylene pipelines. Polyethylene pipelines can be used at this point because basically the pressure of the gas is very low. Okay, so measuring in terms of diameter 63 to 180 mm. So designed to withstand pressures up to 60 psi are used to supply natural gas to customers. Service stations, also known as metering station, further reduces the gas pressure. Okay, considered as the custody transfer point of the gas supplied to customers. The regulating station, delivery point where Gas Malaysia distribution pipeline gas pressure is reduced to 4.3. So 4.3 is very low lah. Okay. Uh, so before being supplied to commercial customers. So we have the service stations here, and then it's known as the regulating station is here. And then area station, delivery point where gas station distribution pipeline gas pressure is reduced to 0.43 psi before being supplied to residential. So residential, they are using area station because their requirement of natural gas is the lowest. So they would have the lowest pressure. So next is Peninsular Gas Utilization or the PGU. Okay, gas from offshore fields landed at the gas processing plant GPP in Kerteh, Terengganu. Here, where the gas is treated and processed to separate its main components. Okay, before it being sent out. So these are the pipelines of PGU in inland. Okay, the inland pipeline. Okay, so this is an example of a city gate station used for regulating and metering purposes. Okay. This is the odorizer station. Okay, the feeder lines, okay, the pipes that are being used to distribute the gas. District station, okay, it's a very simple facility. In this case, it's a gas district station for entire of Putrajaya. So a small facility like this is able to serve an entire district. Okay, the service station and the regulating system of the gas pipeline. and of course the gas area station. All right. So with this facility, we are able to power not only the residential or industrial building, but as well as the transportation. Okay, so this is the use of gas in residential houses. It can be used for heating needs, for power. Okay, um, this type of technology is not that popular in Malaysia yet, but overseas they use a lot of natural gas for lighting, for transportation, for heating of their homes, for their dryer, and for their gas stove in the kitchen, and even for water heater. So they are able to reduce their dependency on electricity for power. So by using gas for power, they are able to cut down in terms of their monthly bills. So next is the liquefied petroleum gas. So this is produced through petroleum filtration process. 70% propane, 30% butane. So functional for heating works, okay, residential and domestic, such as cooking and heating. So it can also be used for the refrigeration cycle. So it's an important source of energy for many home and businesses in Malaysia. LPG is stored by one of two methods, namely the bulk tank system and the manifold system. So if it is contained in some sort of high pressure container, most likely it is an LPG. So this is the manifold system. Okay, we can see that the building is connected to a series of gas tanks. Okay, so it's known as the manifold system. So this manifold system would last very long. Normally, when the cylinder is totally being used, it would just be replaced, meaning that the empty cylinder will be taken out and being replaced with a new cylinder. So this ensures an uninterruptible supply of gas. So this manifold system, usually we see it at restaurants because they use a lot of gas to prepare meals and such. This manifold system usually being put outside the building, okay, to provide more space for the kitchen as well as for safety purposes. Because if there are leakage, okay, to the manifold system, okay, because it's being positioned outside, is not a big of a threat compared to if the system is being put indoors and there's a leakage of gas. Gas will be concentrated at the inside the uh, kitchen. So when there is a spark, that can cause an explosion. So putting it outside is basically a safety, um, for safety purposes. However, there is also an issue of security. So normally these manifold system are being fenced, okay, to um, provide to prevent unauthorized access. Next, we have the bulk tank system. So usually the bulk tank system are being used because of their very high capacity. So the bulk tank system is typically a lot bigger than the manifold system. Depends on the usage. Usually manifold system we see it behind restaurants, but we can also see them behind shopping complexes. because they use this manifold to supply gas to their food courts. But for very large shopping malls with a lot of food courts, they might need to upgrade from the usage of manifold to a bulk tank system. So this bulk tank system consists of one or more LPG storage tanks. So these are very huge tanks. Okay, and when the gas like has been reduced to a certain level, I mean they won't wait until the tank is empty, but once the gas has been consumed and reach a certain level, they will just need to refill the tank. So the uh, LPG truck will come in and basically just top up the storage tank with LPG. So again, for safety reason, it's being put outside just in case if there is any leakage, and also it's being secured with a proper gate and fencing. In terms of the piping, it is quite similar with the manifold being sent and then being sent straight into the appliances that need the gas. So advantages here, you save your space in your kitchen, which would otherwise be used to house a gas cylinder, and both of these system provides a continuous, uninterrupted supply of gas. Okay, next is a comparison between natural gas and liquefied petroleum gas. So, natural gas are normally being used for industrial and commercial purposes. This is because they require a lot more in terms of volume for this type of fuel. LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, normally being used for commercial and residential building. The main gas for natural gas is methane, whereas LPG, propane. In terms of pressure, the natural gas is being sent in pipelines, and it will get quite low, 60 psi reduced to 0.43 psi for residential, whereas the end pressure for LPG is higher because it's being stored in a gas tank. Yeah. So the supply pipe is buried below ground level for natural gas. Okay. But for LPG, it does not have any supply pipe, but it is being sent by portable gas tanks. All right. So next, the component of a gas supply system. Okay, we will look at them one by one. First of all, is the tank itself. So normally located at the outside of building. So due to the rules and regulation, so all safety distance should be followed to ensure all risk can be minimized as practical as possible. The storage system designed by engineers according to gas consumption and safety distance. So how large the tanks are or how many there are depends on the design. Basically, the depends on the requirement of the client. So the installation of storage systems shall be fenced and locked to prevent unauthorized access and tampering. So for the LPG manifold, okay, normally for factories, hotel, industrial, bulk tank, for factories, commercial, residential. Okay. Next is we have the bulk tank and then the piping system. This is just some examples. Next is the vaporizer. So it's a device for converting liquid LPG into vapor. So the LPG inside the gas tanks are in liquid form. So in order for it to be used, it needs to be changed into a vapor form. So this vaporizer is used for liquid oil LPG cylinder to supply a lot of gas continuously to the appliances. So it's the same concept as the car's engine, where the fuel is petrol, but the petrol is in liquid form. So before it's being used, it needs to be changed into vapor, either by the use of carburetor or the injection system. So the same goes here. To ensure the sufficient gas has transformed to liquid state into gaseous state to maintain sufficient gas pressure. So the vaporizer also maintain the gas pressure. Next is the regulator. Solutions for storage or handling LPG. It ensures the pressure of LPG that has been vaporized remain constant in the pipeline. So the main purpose of regulator is to regulate the pressure of the vaporized LPG throughout the pipeline system. So as well to ensure the constant and continuous supply of gas. Next is the gas leak detector. So it is a safety feature, precautions to the client. It's either natural gas or LPG alarm detection unit, depending on the type of fuel that they are using. So when there is unexpected accidents, let's say there is a leakage. So before anything serious happens, the gas leak detector will detect this there's gas in that environment, and then it will send alarm or signals, okay, to the control room of the facility to indicate that there is a suspicion of gas leak in that particular area. Next is the meter. Meter, of course, to measure the amount of gas being used by customers. So at the end of the month, the customers will get a bill for their gas usage. Okay, thermostat. So thermostat are needed to stabilize the heat and temperature inside the pipeline. Okay, so it maintains a certain degree of temperature required inside the pipeline. Turns off the heat source when temperature rises above particular level. Okay, so it can also send signal when the set temperature has reached or causes other operation to occur. Okay, next is the gas control valve. The gas valve are typically used to control the flow of fuel into a combustion chamber. Now, this for internal gas valve is operationally attached to thermostat. So these gas valves are located all over the pipeline. So it's not just one or two unit, but it is all over the pipeline so that they can basically do a maintenance work. Okay, they can shut down a certain section of the gas pipeline so that they can do their work safely. And then, of course, the piping system. So they will be using steel pipes, okay, for a above ground piping system. So these pipes are being welded or fitted together. Polyethylene pipes are especially for underground natural gas pipeline. Okay, so this is because when reaching the consumer, especially residential consumer, the pressure of the natural gas is very low. So we don't need to install a steel pipe, but the usage of polyethylene pipes would suffice. Natural gas internal piping system from natural gas service station to appliances. So it's not just natural gas, even for LPG gas facilities, the internal piping system would usually also made from steel pipes. Okay, so with that, I thank you for listening in to this presentation. Okay, I hope to see you again next week. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.